Hey, welcome. It's Leslie Zazoo Plazz, Zazoo Plazz, back out in the woods. Yep, back in my little wood hiding place here. It's I don't know what is it, like 10:30 at night or something, 11 o'clock. I don't know. So, yeah, good. I got some trees over here. There's the full moon over there. I came in here and I heard, oh, there's the moon. The moon is over there. Full, it's going to be full in Aquarius, I think, which is opposite Leo, which is where the sun is. So, yeah, July, what is it today? No, it's not the 16th. It's July 30th, 2023. Yeah, a couple of mosquitoes. Something was making noise over there. Some kind of chirping and squirreling and squealing, and we get all kinds of nightlife happening here. It was interesting. Nightlife. I was watching a documentary about Studio 54 last night on Netflix. I never knew anything about that. The disco era for me as a little kid was, like listening to disco on the radio, uh, you know, on my stereo, like lying on my orange carpet in my bedroom and dancing. Like, I didn't. So I learned all this stuff, about how they had this great, idea for a nightclub. And it was, very selective, I guess. It just kind of got out of control. But what a Leo thing to talk about, right? What a very Leo thing. A bunch of, this was the baby boomers, right? But, then it got out of control. So that's kind of like what I'm talking about today. Um, you know, maybe, anyway, I have some things to get off my chest. So that's why I had to come out here today. It's a little chilly. We had some storms, a lot of storms. Now it seems to be a little bit cooler. So today jeez, my oldest kid. So I'm gonna have a little news first. The news. He came home. Let's see, yesterday, or Friday night. Yeah, Friday night. He flew out yesterday. He went to Vancouver, British Columbia. He had all his plans. Being a Virgo, his whole trip was meticulously planned. He had the right suitcase, and he got the best price, and he needed a little help with finding his seat, I guess, on the plane. But he and his two of his buddies, they went out there. I don't know what they're gonna do out there, but so we get a text. My husband gets a text. He says, "Got to Vancouver. They lost my bag." My son. He's 22. They lost my bag, but apparently they sent it. Finally, they sent it to his place. But I said, well, that's why you have a backup plan. You have a little carry-on, something you can take with you in case they lose your bag. This is Gen X sensibility. This is what we tell our kids. It's like, remain calm, plan for the worst, expect the best. That's the Zazoo Plazz mentality. Well, it's worked for me, But here he is. He's the Virgo, always the planner. He's got everything under control. He's got the best price. He's got everything. They lost his bag, So even the best laid plans of college graduates and computer, uh, you know, AI experts can go awry. Anyway, I'll just throw it out there for those of you parents who might get a chuckle out of it. We can't, try as we might, we can't smooth out all the wrinkles of life for our kids. People, I don't know. Somebody's over there. I don't know, it's a full moon. Whatever. Maybe that's my friend coming to check on me. They're putting in a whole new extent. They got rid of the basketball court. They got a new extension on the school. It's ugly as anything. You know, I like what was there before, but they couldn't fit all the kids or something. I don't know. They needed to add on. So they got all these materials over there, which is probably why they need a presence, a security presence. I'm just doing my report. I just have stuff to get off my chest. Like I wanted to pay tribute. I've been on Gen X, so, um, uh, chatting with my fellow Gen Xers on social media about Sinead O'Connor, and it's good that we have each other during this time. Those of us who can offer a similar perspective on what her music meant to us, you know, in the 90s, and whether or not she's a Gen Xer. Of course, she was a Gen Xer. She was born in 1966. The fact that she was born in Ireland, maybe some things are different there, but the essence is is what's within. It's the attitude. It's the planetary alignment when you were born. That really, there were outer planets that determine, certain things about generations, right? No one questioned whether the Bee Gees were baby boomers. Of course they were. They were born in, they were British and Australian. Speaking of Australia, I'm going there today. We're going to 1980, 81 in Australia. But, yeah, I mean, of course she was Gen X. And I guess the theme for tonight's talk, rant, would be, devoting your life to, the reading was of King Solomon. And that's perfect because it's Leo, the lion, the king of the jungle, right? There's a reading today about King Solomon. Wise King Solomon. He didn't ask for, he didn't ask for money, right? He had his wish or whatever. He asked God for understanding, to know what is right from what is wrong, right? And for each person, that's different. Everybody has their own thing that they give up everything for. This is what I'm about. This is what I came here for. In my case, I cashed out all my retirement savings and put it into my Zazoo Plazz business, right? And, you'll see people, and, Sinead O'Connor said she just wanted to get some things off her chest. And, I mean, look at me. We had similar hairstyles. I have things. This is why I come out here. I'm not getting paid for this. I have things to get off my chest. And I believe that, well, my grandmother lived to 102. But I believe that this keeps me young. This is people, it's not the creams, it's not the potions, it's not whether you smoke or not, well, that definitely is a factor. But, once you get your health, once you, or find out what you need to be healthy, and you're doing that, then pursuing that which makes your heart, beat, that which gets you out of bed in the morning is what you must do, right? So, King Solomon, he was, let's see, revelation of your words sheds light. I'm taking from the readings for today, the Catholic, not the Catholic Church, just the readings, because, like Sinead, not like her, because I'm not Irish, I'm American. I start out as a Catholic, and I too found that, I spent 12 years in Catholic school. I very different circumstances. I wasn't sent to live with, but I did have nuns. Of course, I was taught by nuns in middle school. I was taught by priests all the way through college. I went to a Jesuit college. Did I have some heated discussions with priests? Of course. But, that's how I found out who I was and what was important to me. and I have found a way to be in the world and express my views while still being, in the world. I'm not of the world, but I'm in it, right? So, you make certain compromises, but you pick and choose. All right, so that's where I'm kind of coming from today. Um, you know, scribes for the kingdom of heaven. It's like the head of the household who brings from his pantry the new and the old. Keep the useful. And so, sometimes, like yesterday, I made buffalo chicken chili. And I said, how many times you order, all these like cans of diced tomatoes, and you're like, oh, I already had some. And you look, it's like they don't go bad, but sometimes you're like, oh, I got to use up the old ones before I use the new ones. And as long as they're all good, it doesn't matter, right? But sometimes you go rummaging around down there in the pantry, and you find like a 5-year-old bag of flour, or something you bought that was like, like I don't know, I bought unbleached flour, and it's just gross. I'm like, why am I holding on to this bag of unbleached flour? I'm not using it. It's not useful to me. It's not wrong. It just wouldn't be very healthy for me to eat it. So that's, it's kind of like, it's false. It's not contributing to my further, health as a person. I'll go out, get some fresh flour. Use that first. Yeah, so, it's so easy to, isn't it, when someone's gone, to say, oh, put them up on a pedestal. But when they're still alive, how do you treat people? Do you look at them as means to an end, your own personal end? Do you shape them to suit your purposes? That's, I think that's a message we can draw from her life, is that, she was an amazing woman, talented, intelligent, loving, loving mother, and of course, when you shine that brightly, there's going to be somebody who wants to take you down, right? I have the highest respect for her, what she stood for and what she endured, and her music, you know. So I just want to get that out there. Anyway, moving along. So the key word that I pulled from the readings today is treasure. Buried in a field. There's a Jesus' parable about the treasure buried in a field, and a man goes and he sells everything he has, and he finds the treasure, buries it again, goes, sells everything he has to have that land with the treasure on it, right? So, but this is a metaphor. It's your treasure is within. It's what you came here. It's what you've discovered. Maybe you discovered it about yourself. With me, I realize that I've got something here. This is what I'm doing. This is something, my treasure, And, whatever it's going to be, whatever it turns into, I'll follow it, I'll follow it. I'll go down that rabbit hole. That's what it means so much to me, Having that kind of focus and that kind of purpose is when great things happen. When you remove all the other distractions and you don't care what anybody says about you, and you pursue that one thing, right? That one treasure, that one pearl, right? You find that one pearl, sell everything so you can buy that pearl, right? And it's what it means to you. It's not what it means to somebody else. Somebody else can say, oh, she goes out at, in the middle of the night, she talks. What the heck is she doing? I'm I'm doing it really because of how I feel after I do it. It's indescribable, really. It's creativity at its finest, you know. I'm honing certain skills that, you know, maybe they're not marketable in the traditional sense, but to me, they're my treasure. See? So I wanted to just start off with that. So, uh, when they talk about the fishermen, pulling up the net with the fish and throwing away the bad stuff, I can't help but think of Forrest Gump in that scene where he has the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company and he goes out, he throws the net, and he gets like 2 shrimp and all these like cans and stuff. Sometimes you get that, you know. Sometimes I sit down to do these reports and I'm looking and I'm looking and waiting for the bells to go off, and sometimes I get I get some stuff, but not as much as I maybe want. But I get out here and then I get what I need, I get the pearls of wisdom appear. The ones that I need to say, and sometimes it depends on the planetary influences, a lot of things. Whether I'm interrupted by something, how noisy the forest is, whatever. What I did was I focused on that word treasure. I woke up today with a Men at Work song in my head. I think it's the song Overkill, but that's not the song. Then I found this song called Down by the Sea. And it was on their Business as Usual album. You know, the one with it was yellow. It was like yellow and it had like I don't know, like a phone cord on it and all kinds of like crisscross. You know the one. Black was like some versions of it were black and white. I think the Australian, but the one I had the cassette. I think I bought the cassette. It was 1981. It came out November 1981. It was released. Business as Usual. Yeah. So of course Men at Work were from Australia. I didn't know anything about Australia. I mean, maybe we in the U.S. we knew like something about koala bears and that they say things like might and in the Barbie, and not even that. When my kids were little, they loved the Wiggles. So by then, we knew a lot more about Australia. We took them to see the Wiggles. Well, no, we took my youngest son. My oldest son didn't. No, they didn't come around because I think by then one of the Wiggles had got sick or something. They didn't come around our area. Something happened to one of the Wiggles. But my son went. Oh my gosh, we got tickets for like right up front, which we thought was great. But my son and his friend, they were sitting there. They were just like this. They didn't move the whole time. And the guy in the red shirt, was it Murray? He came down and he said hi to the kids in our aisle, in our row. And I was over there like, woo! I knew all the songs. I'm like, hey Murray, And my little 2-year-old son is sitting there with his friend. They would have enjoyed watching the show on TV more. They didn't appreciate the live show. 2 years old, they were terrified. But my parents took me to a live show when I was a little kid. I loved it, But these are different kids. So then we were like, gee, why did we? Because we spent a lot of money on the tickets. It was a big deal. But back to Australia. My illustrator is from Australia, Robin Tatlow Lord. She's wonderful. She's a children's book illustrator. And the way I found her was I like Harriet the Spy. And I was looking online and saw some illustrations she had done based on the Harriet the Spy books, which I loved when I was a little girl. So I contacted her and asked, I sent a little mock-up of what I had in mind, and I had been sketching Zazoo for years without knowing, like that's who it was going to end up being. And she did a cover for me. We worked through it. But to think that I would be working with people in Australia, when this song came out in 1981, I knew nothing. We kids, the video played on MTV, of course. Um, but the song was Down Under, of course. That was the famous one. Um, that was their most famous song, and they won Grammy, um, 1983 Best New Artist Grammy. And then what happened was later, I guess, they were accused, and 20 years later, 2010, some record company accused them of copying the flute riff in that song from this song called Kookaburra, which was, some lady wrote in 1932 or whatever, and she was still alive. I don't know. But she had never accused them in the whole 20 years the song had been out. She had never brought a suit about it. But so you have to wonder, one of the guys in the band, I guess his last name was Ham, he died. He fought it. He claimed until his death he had a heart attack from all the stress. He spent $4 million fighting this in court. He said that, he described exactly how the song came to be, and, from the it's a great song. Oh my God. It's like one of the best songs ever. And he fought that. He fought it. He said, no, we wrote that song. We recorded it. We didn't copy from anybody. I tend to believe him, because, it seems to me that if the woman who wrote the song hadn't said anything, why all of a sudden is this record company, and so whatever, she got $100,000 out of it or whatever, but the guy died from stress at age 58. It was terrible. So you have to wonder, it was written in 1932 as a Girl Scout song or something, girls, whatever, but, this was his pet. He sold everything to, he put everything toward fighting this. That was his song. He loved that song so much. He said that it was about the real Australia, the one before it was settled and, before greed took over. Ironically, it's not some nationalistic, like he said, people drinking beer and, waving flags or whatever. You have to go deeper. You have to look beyond, the surface of things. Born in the USA. What does Bruce Springsteen say that song is about? Is it just some kind of, this is what we are as a country? Who do you think we are? I ask myself, who do I think I am as an American? What is America? And I think every person might have a different answer, and that, I think, maybe is part of it. We as a country, and Gen X as a generation, we are so varied, and we have so many different perspectives, and we come from so many different places, right? And that's what America is. It's a melting pot, and Australia has its own identity, as, settled by all these different people. So maybe, the thing is that in life there's some things we're just not going to know. And that's, whoever tells you they got it all figured out, whatever. But, so I found this other song, though, that I had never really heard. Maybe I heard it because I had the album, but it's been a while. It's called Down by the Sea, and it's on the same album as Down Under. But one of the lyrics in the song says, I found your hidden treasure down by the sea. So it's like he's talking, he probably grew up near the sea, and he's talking about, things the way he feels when he's down by the ocean. He's communing with spirit, source, comes, the creative energy that comes through him when he's, so that, listen to it. I'm going to put the link down there, down in the description. I'll put both songs. I'll put Down Under and Down by the Sea. So we're going, down under, down to the sea. So anyway, the lyrics are really good to Down by the Sea. And it's the same kind of thing. It's, finding out, what's true, what's merely, what's false and what's true. Being like Solomon, asking for understanding, asking, okay, I want to know the truth, right? And that's what Sinead O'Connor was all about. She was all about the truth, and her truth. And, some people don't like to hear your truth. They prefer to think that you copied that song when you didn't. I mean, you guy said he didn't. So, and sometimes what people think, what's legal, what the legal system says is right. It's not always the whole story, What someone feels is right might, like technically, maybe I'm not supposed to be here because I'm on school property. But do I feel like I need to be here to do my Zazoo report? Yes. It's one of those kinds of things. It's a very gray area. But when you find that thing in your life that you're kind of risking a little bit, by standing up for, then you know that you're on that edge, right? You're on that, you feel alive when you're there, Being true to yourself is what it's all about. That's what I had to get off my chest today. I guess that country guy is back in town. He postponed the concert because the one my son went to. But there's people like wearing like funny tutus and like dresses marching around down there at the Xfinity in Hartford. I don't know. There's some controversy about his video or something, and so some people are not happy. And they're on the news walking around in ball gowns. I wasn't, for the record, I wasn't. I'm very, I don't know. That's not my thing. I don't know what's doing this. There are some things I figured out that I can avoid the drama, There's some drama you don't need to be part of. So figure out what's your drama and what's other people's drama, and then life gets easier, So I'm going to go eat my leftover buffalo chicken chili and listen to some Men at Work and get ready for the week. And I'll talk to you next week. Maybe you'll go down by the sea. Hopefully it's not too hot. Hopefully it's cooler down by the sea. It's not too bad tonight. So I'll be back next week with another edition of the Zazoo Report. Take care, stay cool, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.